Hi, Ale. Good afternoon.
Hi, Miss. Good afternoon.
Well, it's so cold here. Let's wait a minute, please, for your classmates.
It's okay, Miss.
Okay. But let's talk about a test. You were interested in that, right? Next week on Thursday will be the last class, okay? So that day it will be the test, the final test. We're gonna start at 6. I will give you some instructions and then you will give the test. Okay?
On Thursday, Miss?
Yeah, because
Thanks.
Tuesday we still have classes. We're gonna have a speaking class from today's review. Then Wednesday we're gonna have the last class, theoretical class, and then we're gonna have the test. Okay, on Thursday.
Thanks, Miss.
Okay, I think we can start now because we're not gonna make it other way. Okay, Ale, just you and me. Okay. Today we're gonna talk about presentations. It's a topic that you will find very useful in the future, I think, because it will help you to make your maybe when you have some presentations, some jobs to do, and maybe cases, clinical cases, you can use these tips. Okay, we have a data presentation one. For example, referring to a table or figure. In an article, you can write figure one, table one. You can show, right, whatever you want to show on the graphic or on the table. X is shown in. You can give a little instruction on the graphic, just here below. You can put X, right? The thing you will show on the graphic is shown in, and you can write in which page or in which site did you find this graphic, okay? In a presentation, you can use the same expressions, or you can say, as you can see in table one, to explain your table or your figure. Ale, if you don't understand anything of what I'm saying, just tell me, okay?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, but it's almost the same. In Spanish, we have a presentation, right? And we put some information and then put the table or maybe a figure, and we have to explain about that. What we're gonna find there, where did we find that, okay? Then we can comparing variables. Okay, when you refer to a table, you will often need to compare one variable with another, especially in health, right? For example, X was twice or 3 times as effective or common as Y. This is a comparison, okay? Maybe you're gonna do an exercise or a presentation about 2 types of drugs or medications, and you can compare one medication to another one, okay? I don't know if you have any questions here for vocabulary.
No, it's okay.
Perfect. Let's go. Or you may need to compare the same variable at different times. For example, the number of eggs in 2000 was a double or triple, or maybe you can say 3 times 2, that in 1990, okay? It's a way to compare the same variable at different times. Another way you can say there was a twofold or threefold increase in the number of eggs between 1990 and 2000. Or the number of eggs increased twofold or threefold. Or the number of eggs doubled or tripled between 1990 and 2000. Approximating, when referring to the data presented on the slides, numbers are often rounded. Okay, for example, 41.3 becomes 41, okay, or 40, but most 41. When this is done, it is common to use expressions of approximation. Here, side effects were reported by about, around, approximately, roughly, some 40 patients, okay? Just when you use this kind of situation, numbers are often rounded, okay? Remember that. Do you have any questions?
No, Miss, thank you.
Perfect. Well, numbers are frequently presented as fractions or percentages, even when the exact number is given. For example, roughly 2/3 of patients reported side effects. And we speak the same in Spanish, right? We talk about fractions when we refer to something. 55 or some 2/3 of patients reported side effects. Well, in English, it's the same, okay? When you want to emphasize a number, for example, 9.8%, you can say almost 10% or nearly 10%. You can say more than 9% or over 9%. You can say to just under 10%, okay? To show that is a low percentage of 10. And when you want to make a number seem small, you can say less than 10%. Okay? Do you understand? Or you have any question?
No, Miss.
Perfect. Then we have a data presentation too. Is the second part, okay? We have line graphs. Notice the verbs used to describe changes over a period of time. For example, rise, increase, go up, okay? And we will find this in this kind of graphics, right? Then we have fall, drop, decrease, go down, okay? Of course, going down. And reach a peak, okay? First rise, increase, go up, and then just stay there. Or maybe reach a peak and they fall a drop or decrease. Then we have remain the same, okay? Like this. And we have to notice the difference, okay? Rise sharply, steeply, rapidly, or rise steadily or gradually, okay? Where maybe you can see here that is more vertical, right? That's when we speak about sharply, steeply, or rapidly. the rice. And here, it's a little bit, it's not so vertical, right? So we can say rise steadily or gradually, or a little bit slow, okay? Do you have any questions for vocabulary?
Miss, what's the difference between size increase, go up, and size sharply?
Rise sharply. Rise sharply, increase, and
That's to size increase, go up, and to size sharply.
okay. In this case, in this first step, we're seeing this one going up, right? That's why we call go up. It's an example, okay? Or rise, when you say that it's like growing up, okay? Rise, yendo para arriba. Increase, aumentar, right? This is showing us that it's going up. Of course, in this one, this is going down. But in this case, we can find a difference between these two, okay? This one, it's a little more vertical than this one, right? Can you see the difference? Ale, here?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, since you see this more vertical than this one, it's the rise o el crecimiento is sharply, steeply, or rapidly. Es veloz, es rápido, es mucho más violento, digamos, that in this case, okay? That is steadily or gradually, a little bit slow. Do you understand now?
Yes, Miss.
Okay. Now, sharply means in Spanish bruscamente. Okay? Just to let you know. Then we're gonna find a pie chart. Okay? I know that you know this kind of graphics, right? This is a pie chart. Pie charts are an effective way to showing the relationship of parts to a whole, right? This is a whole. Okay. The complete circle or pie represents the whole, as we said, while the parts are represented by segments, and these are segments, okay? Or slices, like in a, I forgot how to say torta en inglés.
Like a cake?
Like a cake. Thank you, Ale. Okay. We have slices, right? In a cake. In a pie chart, the same. We had slices, okay? Or segments. In this pie chart, which shows a health authorities costs, for example, orange slice represents costs of hospital services, this part. Okay, so hospital services account for 60% of the costs. Okay, we have hospital services and the costs will be made in slices or segments. And this one represents almost the 60%. Okay? Do you understand? Do you have any questions here?
No, Miss. I don't have any question.
Okay. Let's continue then. Oh. Okay. Also, we can describe trends. The bar chart below shows the prevalence of HIV, in different countries. Can you read this for me, Ale, please?
Yes, Miss. HIV rates have fallen in some countries as a result of safer sex, but the overall trend is an increase in HIV infections. The steepest increases in HIV infections occur in Eastern Europe, Central Asia, and East Asia, but Sub-Saharan Africa continued to be the most affected part of the world. Adult infection rates in Kenya have dropped from a peak of 10% in the late 1990s to 7% in
2003.
2003. HIV rates in pregnant women in Zimbabwe also fell over the past 2 years.
Okay, so as you can see, we can find here in a presentation, for example, you can put a graphic, right? And you can describe the trends. We have here the trends. 0, 2, 2.9, 26, 9 again, right? This is a trend, okay? 13.8%. And you have to describe, you will give some informations because I don't know why it increases like this and then goes down, right? And you have to explain to your, maybe you're giving a class, right? And you have to explain the results, okay? I don't know if you have any questions here for vocabulary.
No, Miss.
Okay. Do you understand the word steepest?
No.
Okay. When we talk about the steepest increases in HIV, infections, we have to talk about the most, I will show you here. The reach or the high peak, okay? It's like steepest, el más empinado, crecimiento in this case, okay? Talking about infections of IHB or HIV, sorry. Do you understand now?
Yes, Miss, thanks.
Okay, no problem. Then we have the research articles, where we can find the structure of a research would be typically divided into 4 main sections, right? We can find an introduction, then the methods we're gonna use, and the results, of course, and the last thing will be the discussion. That would be the body, okay, of an article. This is sometimes called the IMRAD structure of articles. The introduction contains background information. In other words, it reminds the reader what it is already known about the subject. It includes information about, pre-explains what has not been investigated previously. Finally, there is usually bias studies and as a statement of the objective or purpose of the research, why they did it, okay? So in a little bit resume, we can say that, of course, we have the introduction about talking about the things we're gonna reach on the article, the methods we're gonna use or we had used, the results we reach, and the discussion, okay? Why we did it, and what conclusions do we get? Do you understand, Ale? Is there any question here?
No, miss, it's clear.
Perfect. Let's continue then. Okay, Ale, can you read the first paragraph?
Yes, miss. In the case of clinical research, the methods section gives details of the people who were studied, the participants in the research. The method section also contains information about any intervention carried out, for example, medication, advice, operations. It gives details of the steps taken in the study, how the participants were chosen, and includes the main things measured, such as blood levels. Finally, there is information about statistical analysis.
Okay. Okay, right here, steps, okay, steps taken in the study. Then the result section tells what was found, the findings and of the study. And the discussion section contains explanations and claims for the importance of the study. It may also list limitations or parts of the study which were unsatisfactory and suggest what research needs to be done in the future. There is usually a conclusion, which is sometimes a separate section. At the end of most articles, there is a short section called acknowledgements. Okay, in this, the authors thank people who have helped them in their research. Finally, there is a list of references, the books and articles which the authors have used. And that is so much important, okay? I don't know if you have any questions.
No, miss.
Okay. I think you have the chance to make a monography or something like that, or an article maybe. Did you did it sometime?
Yes, I did a monography once.
Okay, and of course, there are a lot of steps, different steps, right? I don't know if you can mention some differences between those, the article and the monography.
Yes, I think a monography is like a group of different articles, maybe, because we look for a lot of information of different articles or I don't know, different authors, and we make like um, a compendium.
Okay. You look for a lot of references and different topics to make a one study, one investigation, right?
Yes, miss, but we focus in a topic and we look for
Okay,
mm, different, I don't know how it could say, fuentes.
okay. Let me check. But you can say, maybe you can say references or books, maybe if you are looking for that.
Yes, that's right.
Or sources, okay? I will write it down here. Okay. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see what I just wrote?
Um, yes, but it's small.
Okay. Can you see it now? It's here.
It's the same.
It doesn't work. Okay, I will try to send it by here. I don't know. Where? Maybe later. Okay, but sources you can use to refer to the fuentes or recursos that you are looking for. Okay? There any question?
No, miss.
Okay, let's go ahead. Then we have the objectives that are statements about objectives, often contain the following verbs. Okay, we can find assess, that, do you understand this word? It's like evaluate, okay? Assess. We can speak, we assess whether it works or not, for example. We can use another verb, determine, okay? The aim of our study was to determine whether this works or not. Again, we can use also investigate, okay? For example, we investigate the topic we're talking about. Okay, welcome, Vanya. Then we can also use evaluate. I know this is almost a synonym, okay? But you can use this word to evaluate, okay? Like, for example, this study evaluated and you explain what was evaluated in this investigation, okay? Then the main findings. The discussion section usually begins with a summary of the main findings. This is related to the objective of the study. Typical verbs include, for example, show. We have shown that, and you explain what did you find and what this investigation shows. Confirm, okay? Our study confirmed that, and you explain what is the confirmation. Provide evidence. These findings provide strong evidence that, okay, who raised her hand? Do you want to speak? Oh, okay. Don't worry, Vanya. Just try to understand this part and then you're gonna see the first part, okay? Otherwise, you're gonna get lost. Okay, then we have, where was I? Provide evidence, right? These findings provide strong evidence that if the results are less certain, no problem. Ale, do you listen to me?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, sorry. I thought it was off. Okay. Then we have suggest, another word we can use on main findings. The results suggest that, and we have to explain the suggestions, okay? And with negative results, we can use failed to. This study failed to show that, right? And you explain what was the failed and why the study or the investigation fails, okay? I don't know if you have any question here.
Yes, Miss. What was ACES?
Assess, it's almost the same like evaluate, okay? In Spanish is evaluar, literalmente, okay? Any other question?
No, Miss.
Okay, let's continue then. Then we have the abstracts, structured abstracts. It's a type of summary and may be found in special collections of abstracts, such as Medline, or in conference programs, as well as at the beginning of a research article. Many journals require contributors that are authors wishing to publish their articles in the journal, okay, contributors, to provide a structured abstract. That is an abstract which is divided into specific sections. That is an structured abstract, okay? And we have here the BMJ abstract. For example, what does it mean? It means the British Medical Journal structured abstract is divided into the following sections. It has an objective, a design, a setting, subjects, main outcome measure, results, and conclusion. Okay? This is an example. Many others can vary, okay? A little bit. Maybe one of them doesn't have, for example, some subjects, right? But most of them has the same sections, okay? Do you have any questions here?
Yes, Miss. What is main outcome measure?
Okay. Let me check here. We can translate these like medidas de resultados, okay? What we can find, we can, I don't know if you are, if you, when you make an investigation or a monography or maybe a research or investigation, you can have a box of results, right? Where you can list the results, okay? And that's a little bit similar in this case with this translation, medidas de resultados, main outcome measure. I don't know if you did it sometime.
I don't know. Maybe I did it.
Okay, you have a box, for example, on the results part, and you can list the results that are almost related with your objectives, right? For example, one of your objectives will be look for a treatment that will be your objective. Okay, look for a treatment for this kind of disease. I don't know. I'm just saying. Your result directly related with that objective will be the first result. We found a treatment, or we didn't found a treatment for this result. And then you have three objectives, maybe specific ones. Okay, three. Your results, your main outcome measure, must have three results directly related with your objectives. Okay, and that is a main outcome measure. And if you didn't do before, maybe you're gonna do it in the future. Do you understand now?
Yes, miss, thanks.
Okay, no problem. Oh my God. Here is an example. Age at retirement and long-term survival of an industrial population prospective cohort study. Objective, we have the first segment, to assess whether early retirement is associated with better survival. Oh my God, it's raining so bad here. I don't know if you can listen. Okay. For example, that is one objective related to this topic, right? Then we have the other segment, the design, a long-term prospective cohort study. That is the design. Then we have the setting, petroleum and petrochemical industry, United States. The subjects, okay, past employees of Shell Oil who retired at ages 55, 60, and 65 between 1st January 1973 and 31 December 2003. Okay, main outcome measure, hazard ratio of death adjusted for sex, year of entry to study, and socioeconomic status. Okay, then we can say, okay, but you said that this is related to the objectives, right? This here might be the general objective. Then here we have to read this very careful, and we will find out that the specific objectives has to be related with sex, year, and socioeconomic status, right? Then we will find a main outcome measure, okay? On the results, subjects who retired early at 55 and who were still alive at 65 had a significantly higher mortality than those who retired at 65. Hazard ratio 1.37, that represents the 95%. Confidence interval 1.09 to 1.73, where this is just an example, okay? Then we have mortality was also significantly higher for subjects in the first 10 years after retirement at 55 compared with those who continued working. And we have, of course, the results. After adjustment, mortality was similar between those who retired at 60 and those who retired at 65. We have the results. Mortality did not refer for the first 5 years after retirement at 60 compared with continuing work at 60. And we have the results. Then here we can imagine. I will go back just to show a little bit of this to Vanya. We have to describe trends, okay? In the result parts, we will find these things explaining like these results. Okay, we have to say on the 65 years, on the 60 years, in explaining every single thing. That that are trends. Oh, okay. And finally, the conclusions. Are just examples. Okay, to do this, we have to make an investigation, of course. But just is just an example. For example, in conclusions, retiring early at 55 or 60 was not associated with better survival than retiring at 65 in a cohort of past employees of the petrochemical industry. Mortality was higher in employees who retired at 55 than in those who continued working. Okay, so we have used the title, the objective, design, serial, subjects, main outcome measure, results, and conclusions, like we find here at the British Medical Journal structure with these sections. Okay, maybe you will find to write any research or abstract, you will find maybe some structured abstracts in different cases that will contain these segments or sections or another ones. Okay, did you understand, or do you have any questions here?
No, miss, I don't have any question.
Okay, I think Vanya doesn't have questions either. I hope so. Okay, to make conference presentations, the structure of a presentation. Conference or Congress presentations are typically divided into IMRAD. Okay, let's check. Okay, thank you, Vanya. I'm so sorry about the sound behind me. I don't know if you can listen that it's huge raining here. Okay.
It's no problem, miss. I can hear you, but I can hear the same.
Okay, that's so good for you. That's why I think I'm yelling. I cannot hear myself, okay? Okay, girls. If the presentation has a different form, the speaker may start by outlining its structure. This helps to orientate the audience. For example, I'll begin by giving you some words to introduce my presentation. For example, okay? Or you can say, first of all, I will give you some introduction of my topic. I'll then give you this kind of maybe definitions to introduce this topic. Then you can say, secondly, I will show you these graphics for a better understanding, okay? And finally, I will give you the results. These phrases or these starting phrases are so important that those are outlining, okay? That helps to orientate the audience. Many speakers like to start a new section with a signal. For example, now we're gonna pass the slides and show that, and you explain what are you gonna do. Moving on to maybe slide 35, you will find that and you will show what is going on in this slide. Okay, as far as X is concerned, you can talk about maybe a result or something. Okay. An alternative technique is to use a question. How did we investigate this problem? To introduce the method. Okay. You give this question and you also answer the question. Well, to investigate this problem, we make some research in this kind of, right? You can start like this, or you can say, what did we find? To introduce the results. Well, we find that this treatment is better than this one, right? Or you can say, how does this compare with previous study? To introduce discussion. So you can answer that saying, we can compare with a previous study, saying that these results are pretty much alike the results of, and you can introduce the result you found before. Okay, those are a little bit outlinings that can help to make your conference presentations. Okay, do you have any questions here? There is something that you can not understand, or it's understood?
It's understood, Miss.
Okay, let's continue then. The introduction. A formal way of beginning is, I'd like to present to you the results of our research into, and you give the title of the topic. Many speakers prefer to begin in a less formal way. When we first began to look into the question of this topic, we thought that this wasn't a good idea, but now that we've finally finished the research, we found out that, and you give all your reasons, okay? You may wish to begin with a generalization of or reference to shared knowledge. For example, it is well known that, and you explain something to introduce, then we can say, many studies have shown that, and you can say what you found on these studies, just in a way to introduce your research, okay? Then you can say, this study has, or this maybe article has established clearly that maybe this drug is not used for treatment in humans. But on the other hand, we have found that this is not true. Maybe you're refusing, okay? Well, those are some outlinings that helps you out with the introduction part. Do you have any questions here?
No, miss.
Okay. Signaling. Other signals that you may wish to give include emphasizing. Okay, I like to emphasize, and you give your example. Listing points. Firstly, we found that, right? And secondly, we also found that these can help. Then referring to slides. These slides shows, that is when you are making an exposition, right? Then giving examples. For instance, if you use this kind of drug for this kind of disease, you will find that. Or these drugs such as, and you give a name, is used to help this in this kind of disease. Maybe, I don't know. What is your topic about? Okay. Then contrasting. On the other hand, we have, or in contrast with this study, we found out that, or however, those are connectors too. Of course, that's speaking about contrast, but are connectors. You cannot make a presentation, maybe, okay, in slide one, we have this. In slide two, this. No, you have to speak, making an emphasizing or listing points, referring to slides, giving examples, contrasting, okay? And the conclusion, it is important to end well. For example, by summing up the main conclusions. You can use so, you can use in conclusion, or to sum up, or finally. Also, you can use we can see that. I'd like to say and by. This study shows that, right? Those are some connectors that can help you a lot in your presentations. Do you have any questions here?
No, miss.
Okay, but it's important that you can maybe write down these connectors. Okay, summing up, it's like a resume. Okay. And we have sections of a case presentation. In case presentation, a doctor presents the details of a patient's case to colleagues at a clinical meeting in a hospital. A typical case presentation is divided into the following sections. I think it's pretty much what you do on the last year of medicine, right? For example, the introduction. I'd like to present Mr. Simpson, patient's age and occupation. A 34-year-old plumber presenting symptoms and duration, who presented with a 1-month history of breathlessness and associated symptoms. He also complained of ankle swelling, which he had for 2 weeks. Then you can say past medical history. There was no relevant past history. You can assume that, of course, you made some questions before make a presentation, right? You make some questions to your patient. Okay? Then you're going to go to the social history. He was married with 1 son. He smoked 25 cigarettes a day and drank about 50 units of alcohol per week. Then family history. His father died of myocardial infarction at the age of 42, and his mother was alive and well. Continuing with, we have findings and examinations. On examination, he was obese, and of course, you add the things he has. Investigation results. We did a chest X-ray, which showed us that he has this. Okay, then the diagnosis. So we thought he had this kind of disease. The treatment. We gave him an intravenous furosemide, and you can add the treatment. Outcome, or what happened. He responded to the treatment and was discharged home. Okay, I think it's pretty much what you do with your patients. Am I right, Ale?
Yes, miss, it's right.
Okay, that is some important. Okay, you can follow these structures or sections. Is there any question of vocabulary?
No, miss.
Bedside presentation. A less formal type of case presentation can take place at a patient's bed. For example, during ward rounds, that is what you do when the house officer presents a new patient to the consultant, or in a teaching ward round, when a medical student presents a case to the tutor. This type of presentations begins less formally, right? And we have an example. This is Mr. Simpson. He is 34 and he's a plumber. He came into hospital yesterday, sent by his GP. He's complaining of a breathlessness, which he's had for 1 month. Okay, that is less formal. Slides. In a formal presentation, here main points are usually summarized on slides. For example, Mr. Simpson, 34, plumber. CO dyspnea, 1 slice, slash 12, ankle swelling, 2 slash 52. SH merit, we have a social history, right? With 1 son, 25 cigarettes per day, 50 units of alcohol per week, okay? Nil relevant, okay? Then we have a family history, father, 42 MI, mother, A and W. I really don't know what are those kind of diminutives, but you maybe know because you do these kind of slides to know to talk about your patients, right? When you don't have a lot of pages writing about their history, clinical history. Or what did you do, Ale?
Yes, miss, we do the clinical history like that, but I don't know what A and W means.
Okay, let's find here. Alive and well. Okay, maybe we can have some letters that helps us to know what are we talking about, but maybe if other people read that, they of course don't know, right? It's just by us. Okay, then we have alive and well, and here we have alive and well. Okay, and this is just an example. Okay, this is more or less what you do on presentations. I hope this can help you a lot on your presentations in the future. Okay, or maybe if you are giving classes to your to some other people in the future too. I hope this can helps you a lot. Okay, so as I was telling you, Ale and Vania, I want you to know the last class will be on April 8th. I think it's Thursday of the next week. Okay, and that day will be the final test. Okay, you cannot be able to do another thing in this schedule, please, because you're gonna give your last tests, your final tests. Okay, today is the last class of this week, and I don't know if you have any other question.
No, miss.
Okay, everything is clear. Then I will send to you my questionnaire. Please, can you fill it for me? Vania, are you there? I don't know if she's there. It will be on Thursday of the next week. Tuesday, we're gonna have a speaking class from this class. Wednesday, we're gonna have the last class, last theoretical class, and Thursday, we're gonna have the final test. Okay? Oh my God, I will send it again. Oh. There you go. I hope this time, yeah. Thank you so much, ladies, and see you next week. I hope you have a great weekend, okay, and holidays. Take
And
care and see you next week. Yeah,
I have a question.
yeah. Tell
Is
me.
the test writing
Yeah,
or
no,
yes?
you have to write. Yeah, it's a theoretical test. You're welcome, Vania. Take care. I was analyzing your increasing and development on the speaking classes for theoretical part. Okay, so don't worry about that. I know you grew up about these days. Okay, but that day will be the final test, a theoretical one. Okay.
Thanks, miss.
Okay, no problem. Take care. Now, see you next week.
Bye, miss. Thank you.